Welcome to Bikers and Backroads, a podcast about all things Harley Davidson. We're your hosts, Jason and the Big Z, so sit back and join us as we go into this week's episode of Bikers and Backroads. What's up, everybody? Thanks for downloading the most recent episode of Bikers and Backroads. I'm Jason, this is the Big Z. We're your hosts for the episodes as usual, and today we're going to talk about some cool stuff that just dropped this week from Harley Davidson. We'll hit a safety tip, and we got a shout out to a few people who've reached out this week. And then we have the one question feature that I'm going to hit Big Z with. But welcome again. You can find us anywhere you're listening to audio podcasts. We're on Podbean. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. We're everywhere. On social media links, Instagram and X or Twitter, we are on there. At Instagram and TikTok, we are at Bikers and Backroads, our regular listing. On Twitter or X, we are BNB_pod. So you can find us anywhere you want. And of course, if you're looking at us, you found us on YouTube at our YouTube channel. Come on, subscribe, like, share, interact with us. We're trying to grow this thing. We did pick up a new subscriber this week. And I know we're getting people viewing our stuff. Whether you're subscribed or not, just reach out to us. We're glad to talk to you. So whether you have purchased your most recent Harley Davidson or you're just an enthusiast thinking about buying your next Harley Davidson or first Harley Davidson, we think we've got something to offer you because we have a passion for Harley Davidsons. We love motorcycling. We encourage everybody to ride what you ride. We love Harley Davidsons. We're going to talk about Harley Davidsons. But if you have a comment and you want to shoot us something about a different brand of bike or whatever you like to ride, send it to us. We'll address it. We'll move on. We started out on Buells, and we have a soft spot in our heart for Buells. So, yeah. What's up, Z?
Oh, not much. Been a cold week. Ready for the warm weather, man.
It has been cold here in West Virginia. We're talking 20s, and we're talking single digits maybe coming up into the next week. And when you work outside like the Big Z does, it gets a little bit cold.
Yeah.
But this fool spent his night last night coyote hunting. So whether that gets us a flag or something on YouTube, we're not going to mention what you used to hunt with. But he decided he'd sit out in the cold after being in the cold all week and look to secure some neighbor farms from some critters. So anyway, so we were talking earlier this week about our first segment. We always try to do a safety tip. And Xander had a really good one. So we've talked about this a little bit in some other topics, but this is just a global topic he wanted to mention, and it has many twists. So go ahead, buddy. Segment one, we're going to let you start it off.
Yeah, so my biggest safety tip is, and this is something I focus on a lot when I'm riding by myself or even with some friends, and we all kind of do it a little bit differently, but it's all something we focus on, which is making sure you're seen. We've said that before with the lighting, like make sure your lighting's good before. I'm going to touch on that again. You always want to make sure that you have brighter lights. I suggest if you have an older bike, especially upgrading to LEDs. A lot of the new Harleys already have LEDs on them, turn signals and everything. But if you don't have an LED lighting system, that technology has been around for a while now, so it's a very cheap way to upgrade your bike. And also, it'll change the look. It'll make it more of yours. But you're going to have, aside from the look aspect, the performance and visibility. That's just good for day and night riding. You're going to make yourself a lot more visible to cagers and everybody else on the road. But on top of that is something I find myself doing a lot, and it's a lot of guys say it, is try to basically make eye contact with a driver or something at a intersection or a stop sign. Make yourself, visible to them. A lot of people really don't look for motorcycles. Loud pipes save lives. If you've got to make a little bit of noise, as if that is really helpful or not, who knows? But sometimes making a little bit of noise of catching attention around people in some high traffic areas like in town or something, that's something I like to maybe try to do. Maybe not to an extent and be the guy sitting there rev bombing his bike everywhere, but hey, if making a little bit of noise is making me feel a little bit more comfortable that people are looking for me, I'm going to do it if I feel like it's necessary. But another one that I don't necessarily hear people talk about, but people do it, and I do it a lot, and a lot of the other people that we ride with or around do it, is when it's able to and appropriate, like changing lanes or things of that nature. When you check back your shoulder to make sure there's nothing in your blind spot and there is a car behind you that you can see in a mirror or whenever you look back, have your turn signal on, but pointing, like with especially my clutch hand. But if I'm moving slow enough that taking my hand off the throttle is not going to make my bike slow down to and fast enough to be unsafe, I'll even point with my throttle hand, like point to that lane and make sure they see you and know that you're coming over. So yeah, just making sure that you are visible to people you're riding with, but also cars around and people around. You want to be seen. And that's my biggest safety tip. I know people talk about it, and if you do an MSF course, they're probably going to mention making yourself seen. I don't know how deep they're going to dive in. Like the pointing thing was not something that I recall mentioned in my MSF course, but a lot of people I ride around, it was just kind of something they picked up. I picked up, but you don't want to be invisible, and on a bike, it sometimes feels that way. So depending on the area and things of that nature, there's going to be differences. Like on the interstate, I'm not going to grab the clutch and rev my bike up like that. That's not something. But like I mentioned, in town and congested areas, that might make me feel a little bit safer. I also suggest, riding in a lane. You have when I did my MSF course, and I've heard other people talk about it, they said in a lane, there's 3 lanes within a lane. You've got the left, the middle, and the right. You're dead in the middle, okay? I don't suggest riding in the middle if you can go without it. What I personally like to do is be on the left side if I'm by myself. If you're with 2, side by side, either side of the lane, and the middle is, the space in between of the lane. So basically, you're going to have 2 bikes staggered in the tire tracks of where cars are in that lane. If I'm by myself, I want to be on the driver's side of the vehicle, especially on a 2-lane road. If I'm in the, say, left lane, I want to be on the dotted line because that's going to give me most visibility to cars coming up behind me. They're going to see me. And then the driver is going to see me in his mirror closest to him, and also the rear view mirror. And I even might venture out to be don't be in the blind spot. Don't necessarily ride in a blind spot, but not far enough back that I look like a dot, but at a safe following distance, make sure that you're going to be visible in that mirror. Basically, if you can see yourself in that mirror, they're probably going to see you as well. And then at the same time, don't be on the dotted line, but you're going to be close enough that cars behind you that are coming up to pass, if you're not in the passing lane, are going to, recognize that you're there and be able to give you the room over, and they may scoot over in that lane. But that's just some things that I like to practice. I mean, that's up in the air. I have yet to find that has put me in an unsafe scenario. And I've also felt that I have not had anybody fly past me and not realize that I was there, or cars in front or behind me not know that I was there. So yeah.
Yeah, I think anything you can do to make yourself break the pattern of somebody's just mundane looking off into space, because you see a lot of cars. When you ride motorcycles, you look and see a lot of drivers who aren't necessarily paying attention to anything. They just get in, they put their mind on cruise control, they put their cars on cruise control, and they're just so used to doing this trek they do daily. It's there's a reason why most accidents happen closest to your home. It's because where people do most of their driving, and it's because it's like a programmed drive. Oh, I'm going to run to the grocery store. I'm going to do this. And they don't always pay the most attention to their surroundings. So you say, you're going to be loud or not loud, but if you're going to downshift, it's okay to give that little throttle blip when you're coming to a stop area. So you may be behind a car on your bike and somebody's sitting at an intersection and they see that car, but they don't realize there's a bike behind them. I'm not saying you definitely need to maintain your part of the traffic law, but they may look and see that car and never see you, and you're pulling up and they short a turn, or they're turning left and they cut across the lane, and I mean they could clip you or something, but they never saw you. But they can hear you sometimes if you blip that throttle, or if you realize somebody's not paying attention to you, a simple throttle blip sometimes gets their attention. Also, when you're riding, and like you say, you want to change lanes, or even if you're going to turn left, there's hand signals all with your left hand. There's the left turn, the right turn, and if you're stopping. And we all try to maintain and keep our bikes where we have appropriate lighting and brake lights and turn signals, but some people just zone out. So simply changing your body position or doing something out of the ordinary gets people's attention. So, you're wearing your safety gear, you're wearing, you don't have to be, I wouldn't suggest wearing all black at night and stuff like that. I mean, but this is also the time, like you said, bulbs lose their brightness over time. So if you're in your garage and you realize that your bulbs don't seem as bright, rather than let them burn out, replace them ahead of time. Like you said, we have lighting upgrades that we've gotten from name brand companies. We've got lighting upgrades we purchased from Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't see a difference that much between what we run right now.
No. We haven't had enough time to have a longevity issue, I guess. I mean, that's not nothing.
If I buy a $30 or $50 tail light from Amazon and it lasts me 3 years, I'm not mad at that, rather than spending $300. But now that I know I like that, I'm more willing to upgrade to that more expensive one.
If I know the $150 one is going to last 10 years, then I might, this time around, I'm probably going to do that. But I haven't had any issue. I have an expensive light, and I have and like you've mentioned, an Amazon light. I've had zero problems with either. Both were plug and play. And everything's there. It's a very simple, anybody can do it themselves. Both came with a legitimate diagram of what plug goes where, because mine are integrated. So I wasn't just, going straight to plug. There were certain things that had to be within that light, different. So, I mean, it's simple. It was not confusing at all. And here, the other thing is if you do get confused and you plug it up, the worst that's going to happen is when you hit your right turn signal, the left turn signal goes. So you just take the screws off and swap those. It's that easy.
So another thing is make sure your lights are in adjustment. Like we just did this. I just was riding the other evening and it was getting dusk, and I realized, man, my headlight is pointing a lot higher than I want it to. So I came in, I put my bike in the garage, I shine. I'm sure they're on YouTube or things you can find the appropriate distance to get back to shine your light. You're looking for the beam to be at a certain level and below on your low beam. I pulled my bike in, shined my light on the garage door, realized that I didn't like that it was going to go out and keep continuing up. I would rather it cover more of the ground than the eyeballs of the people coming at me. So I just loosened it up, tipped my light down a little bit. Yeah. Did I do it the way that the pros would say do it? No. But I did it the way that when I got on my bike, I liked my light pattern. It was there. I was visible. It was controlling more of the road. I don't need it reflecting off the road sign as much as I need lighting up the road below me. And we don't ride a lot at night, but when you get caught out like that, that's a terrible time to realize your headlight's out of adjustment. Take the time right now to do that so that you are a little more visible. Yeah,
I would say a good practice for, and if you're like us and if you don't ride much at night, a good spot to have your headlight per se is look at where your car headlights point and try to get it in that same scenario. Like mine, I would say when my low beams are on, the way my headlight is it's kind of got you can see the main beam for the low beam. I mean, where it's LED, it's not a halogen bulb, so it's not necessarily illuminating just an area. Mine is you have the main beam for the low beam and kind of ambient lighting for the rest. That main beam for the low beam, you can tell, especially with cars coming at me, it's about level with most cars' headlights on the road. And I can see a lot of what's in front of me. I can see out at a safe distance. And if I'm coming up on a road sign, it will still illuminate that reflective parts of a road sign that I can still read them. My high beam is definitely pointing way farther out, just like a vehicle's. And it's going to bounce straight off of a road sign if I'm seeing it, which is, I mean, in my personal preference, that's how I like it, mine, still that way. But something else I wanted to touch on, and not to interrupt this, but like when I'm passing, every vehicle is different. It's like on the interstate, on a 2-lane road, or a 4-lane back road necessarily. Every vehicle is different. Sometimes I feel that it's better for me if I notice it's a vehicle that's probably driving with a little bit more awareness around them. I may ride on the right side of the passing lane, more like I said on the dotted line between, because that gives me the most visibility and I can get by them, but also that gives me a good chance to go. In either lane, I have space as a path out. Always, that's another thing, is being visible. Always have a plan to get your path out. Be thinking of that as you're coming up to pass a vehicle or cars coming by you. But like if I'm passing a tractor trailer on the interstate, it doesn't matter. Every time I'm probably going to filter over in my lane to the yellow line.
Yeah, I'm getting as
far away as it, because something I don't hear a lot of people talk about is the wind coming off of those is much stronger than a vehicle, than a car or pickup truck moving 70 or 75 mile an hour. The wind coming off of that semi is much stronger, much more buffering on your head and harder. Your bike will shake if you have, certain bikes I'm sure are different. But also the wind will suck up underneath of those trailers. And if you pass one close enough, you'll feel it pulling you closer to that truck. I mean, that's something I've experienced. And so that I might not pay. I'm always going to be as far away in my lane as possible from that semi. And that's something I've seen guys on the road not do, and you'll see them get in that buffering wind. And to me, like if I'm riding behind somebody or I'm driving and see a bike do that, it always makes me a little bit kind of like, oh man, like nervous. And that's just not something I like to do. But definitely make sure you're visible in that. And that's kind of something I'll always maybe break the flow of traffic and try to speed past those guys. But, don't put yourself in anything unsafe scenario, But if you get caught in a scenario like that, make sure you're good to filter over and be prepared to, make an adjustment of your riding.
So this week we got a shout out from a guy who is beginning his riding journey. He's family to us, or he is family to us, literally.
And a listener.
And a supporter, and really helped me get this thing going with the podcast and the YouTube channel, and really encouraged us to have this thing. But he is embarking on starting a riding journey, and this week he reached out to me and he gave me an update, and he has officially began his riding journey. He has purchased a helmet. He has researched helmets probably more than safety foundations, and we have been communicating against a helmet. So this week he picked up an LS2 Citation helmet, which is a version of a helmet of theirs I haven't even seen. It was in a local shop down there with him. He's from Florida. Getting him on a bike, he's going to ride year round. It's going to be great. But so I just want to encourage one of the guys who's encouraged us the most. You know who you are. I'm not putting you out here on blast, but kudos for your first step in your riding journey. I can't wait to get on an airplane and fly down there and watch you get your first bike and bring it home, and it'll be awesome. And so
give us
cool.
a reason to ride down to Florida.
Yeah, that's a long ride, but we would probably do it. And also, we had a reach out about the Kimimoto gloves. We've had one ride in the gloves, and they were asking about the break-in. This person lives in a warmer climate than us, but it does get cool, and having that heated glove is not anything I would steer him away from.
No.
The Kimimotos were comfortable right out of the box when we rode in them. They were stiff and they're a little bulky. But if you're going to have a heated glove, realize these heated gloves are rated for like snowmobiles and
it's literally on the box. And if you see it, like they're advertising it as people riding snowmobiles on them. It's a waterproof, or water resistant, canvas outside layer. It's going to cut wind. It's also going to keep, snow and of that nature out. But at the same time, they're warm. There's motorcycles on it too, but these are warm by themselves. And if you're in a warmer climate, we get that, people acclimate to different things. So we're not steering anybody away from those. If that's a product you want to try, definitely try it. We both loved them. And like you said, stiff out of the box. What would you say? 10 minutes into the ride, they were loose. Maybe making a fist or something of that nature fully out of the box was when you kind of realized how stiff they were. Never had a problem grabbing on or holding on to levers and my bars and grips. They kind of naturally fold in on themselves to an extent. And then by the end of that ride, or 10 minutes in, couldn't even tell they were on. It was just like any other riding glove. They are bulkier, like you said, but you're going to probably have to expect that with any cold weather-ish glove, unless you're going with a leather gauntlet that's no insert, no insulation. But those are insulated on top of being heated. Yeah.
We rode that day and it was in the 50s and I never even turned the heat on.
No.
My hands were warm. It just was the day. We had good weather. Started in the 60s. By the time we were done riding, it was about 56, 57 degrees. And we were talking in our comms and I'm like, I don't even have my gloves on, but my hands are warm. There was no wind coming through those gloves.
No.
They were, like I said, a little bulky, but they broke in quickly. They're just like a snow glove almost. Like when you put your gloves on to go play outside. The one thing I didn't think was very good is they advertised that they're touchscreen sensitive with the padding on the fingertips, I believe, and mine weren't that sensitive. Could it have been just the way my finger was in the glove and I didn't have my gloves broken in very good? I tried 2 times while we were riding to adjust something on my phone that I keep on a quad lock right in front of me, and it just didn't respond. It wasn't a game breaker for me. I was trying to skip a song. But I knew my glove was too bulky to get to my Senna to change the song there, so I tried to do it on the screen. Now, if you're trying to navigate your Cardo or something, those gloves are bulky, and that would be tough. So what you've got to set on, you're going to be there.
My Cardo is the Freecom, and it has the wheel on the bottom to adjust your sound and things. I mean, this is different than your Senna. And the other Cardo, like Pack Talk, is like a dial in the back. Mine is, there's a wheel in the middle that kind of hangs down. In a regular riding glove, like summertime, I can take it and feel it with my thumb, just like if I was barehanded and turn it. With those, I was kind of like taking my hand, keeping my fingers together, and kind of like just brushing and rolling and going. If I had a lot, then I was trying to back it down, but mainly if it's like barely touching. My skip button is a little button in the front, and I was trying to hit that, and that is the one time that I was like, that's different. And but I was with you. I was trying to like touch my screen and turn it on to try to navigate like the skip button on the screen and just press that real quick when it was safe. But
I think that part of the glove is on the pad of your finger, and that's just how those gloves are designed. They do curl. So getting that to the screen the way my quad lock had it wasn't like the gloves just weren't free enough, and they will break in over time. Nothing but good things to say about Kimimoto, and I know they just have to get some hours and some miles on them, but I thought the gloves were great. The battery pack is in the gauntlet area, and I was afraid that would be uncomfortable with my hands on my bars. I didn't even notice it. And I am a brake and clutch coverer, 1 to 2 fingers all the time, and that was comfortable. I didn't get fatigue in my hands. Sometimes my hands get tired.
That was something I noticed too, is it was like, even though they were bulkier, kind of like cut down the vibration I felt in my hand. Which, if you're on a Dyna and twin cams, you know that they vibrate, especially more than the new Milwaukees, unless you've got some crazy build. They're going to vibrate. It's going to shake. And I didn't have near as much coming through my hands at all in those bigger gloves. And that's probably something to do with, like I said, they're padded and bigger. So that was definitely a pro. If it's going to be cold outside, you don't want your hands to go numb from the cold. They're definitely not going to in these gloves. And yeah, I guess you don't want your hands to go numb from the vibration in the cold to just add to it. That cut them down for sure.
I'm not so sure that in the climate we were riding the other day and where this guy that reached out to me is from, I'm not sure a leather roper wouldn't be the appropriate glove. But if you need a heated glove option, the Kimimoto, like I said, we got them for under $100. We got them off of Amazon. They came very well packaged. I am stoked about the ability to have the rubber, like the ability to clear your visor.
That is something we noticed later that is not on a lot of gloves. It used to be on a lot. Yeah, the left hand on the pointer finger has like a rubber wiper.
Like a
so
squeegee.
if it were to, so if your shield was fogging up and it was cold outside, or maybe a little bit of mist from the road or something, you can just take your finger and wipe like a windshield wiper.
You don't feel that at all articulating on that finger. It doesn't stiffen up the glove. And the seam doesn't rub your finger. It was very well made. The battery life, it charges super fast. There's batteries for each one. There's charging cords for each one. So that part alone, there's thought process there. There's a storage bag. We were very impressed. We have an hour and a half riding with these gloves. So, but somebody reached out and asked if we had ridden in them. We have. We were pleased. And the two little things we have may just go away as we get our gloves broken in more.
Absolutely.
So big news this week, Harley Davidson released Chapter 2 of their bikes that are coming out in 2026. And I'm sure, like, we're recording this on a Saturday. The video was on a Wednesday. I'm sure if you're into that stuff, you've seen everybody and their brothers' takes about, what they thought about the new bikes, or were they happy? Were they disappointed? What the things were. My overall thing is they changed a couple bikes. They brought some bikes back that were being asked for. I think Harley corporate is listening to riders. And they delivered on some of these things. I mean, if you want to look at the first things, everybody was buzzing like, oh man, they're going to be bringing back a 1200 Sportster as an entry bike. Oh, you may see a Dyna frame. We've heard some people that were talking, you're going to get a surprise. There's going to be a surprise. Well, you didn't get either of those bikes.
No.
They didn't even unveil the Sprint.
No.
Word is they're trying to under deliver what it's going to do. But Artie Stars is on production to get the Sprint out so that it can be out by springtime. And that's the new bike, the return of the Sprint and the new old bike. That's going to be a smaller displacement. They're hoping to get new riders in to the brand of Harley Davidson. It wasn't on the video. So there's some people like, where is it? Where is it? But if you listen and people are talking about how close it is to the bike that's in India, it could be that, and they just got to get a few things for U.S. emissions, a little pomp and circumstance brought over here. What motor is going to be in that? We don't know. Yeah. What in the world are the fittings going to be like? Or what will the tins, if you want to say, look like? What's the design? We don't know. We have some ideas, but we just don't know. Is there going to be something specific to an American, a North American release that we use here? I would hope that they would step up and do. So to not worry about or beat up what we didn't get in the Sprint, or bikes that we were hoping to show up that we didn't get. Let's talk about what we did get. This is the 250th anniversary of the country of the United States of America. So Harley reached back into the lures. In 1976, we had a Liberty Edition paint scheme, limited, for the bikes. Harley brought out in the Enthusiast Collection Liberty Edition paint scheme. Red, white, and blue on the bags of some touring. You got a Heritage Softail that has the blue bottomed windshield, some beautiful like gray on black paint, some Eagle trim, a specific paint badge or a tank badge, some specific piping in red, white, and blue around the seats, on the dash of the tanks.
Specific dashes.
Beautiful paint. If you know collectors, there's going to be a little bit of a bump on that for some people. For the paint and the graphic, and because it's a 250th anniversary, any anniversary edition of Harley typically has a bump of the stock bike.
On the Street Glide anniversary, you get the Soaring Eagle with its wings spread on the very front over top of the headlight.
Just like the 76 edition. So they just stayed true to their roots, and I love that Harley Davidson does that. I was one who just saw like the past week that in some of the press releasing about what was coming up before the thing dropped, the Chapter 2 dropped, that in the press releasing it said there would be an anniversary paint scheme. And people were like, what anniversary or what bike? But some people online were like, this is America's 250, man. So American brand's going to do that. So what do you think?
Definitely think the paint scheme is very cool. The custom dash, they tie all of that in really, really well. The Eagle on the front of the Street Glide is definitely a throwback to the old one. That might have been like more of a look back then than now. That's probably not my thing. So is it a turnoff though of the bike? No. Something I did notice that's kind of modernized with those is the tinted windscreens. Like the Street Glide has a blue tinted windscreen. Looks pretty cool in my opinion. The lower tinted on the Softail. I feel like we've seen that more than anything like in the past for sure. That's not necessarily anything new, but it does look good. But like I said, it's only on the lower, so like you're not going to be looking through that necessarily like you will on the Street Glide. It's kind of like a secondary notice, where on the Street Glide it's like one of the first things you notice if you're looking at the front of it. But across the board, those three motorcycles I think were done well. They look good. They definitely stayed true to their roots. I'm with you, like you said. That's awesome that they did that. It's very cool that they're recognizing the 250th anniversary of our country. That's something I think everybody wants to celebrate for sure. And if that's how they're going to do it, that's awesome. They released a whole line of anniversary bikes. I think they're well thought out. The paint, that paint on the tank is super cool. They all have the Eagle decal. That's not like the old school Soaring Eagle necessarily. It's kind of its own modernized way. I think that looks really, really good. But yeah, all in all, it was definitely a well done job, well thought out.
Yeah, so those were some bikes that we just see. We're seeing, like I said, anniversary paint editions, paying homage to 250 for the USA, and those are awesome. What we did get, we got some new bikes.
Yeah.
Harley brought back some very nice looking limiteds, the Street Glide Limited and the Road Glide Limited.
Very cool to see that they have now integrated into the lowers some fog lights, and it kind of added a mean little look to the front of it whenever they're lit up. But also, that's kind of something that's going to give you a little bit better vision at night if you're going to be pounding on a limited. They're designed to be the full-blown touring bike. They're going to be, a pavement pounder, putting down the miles on those. I'd say you probably want to be able to see at night on a big bike like that, and if you can get that much vision, much more out of that, and that's something you don't have to add secondary, that's pretty cool.
You have new upgraded suspension, and you can now adjust that suspension by the passenger side floorboard, setting some preload and stuff. You have taller windscreens.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're not 6 foot and taller, that windscreen might give you some fits. You think Harley Davidsons are built for people, the average bike and the average geometry of the bikes are hitting people around 5'8" to 6 foot. So if you're that range, that taller windshield, it probably stops all the buffeting on your helmet. But that was a very tall looking clear windshield on the Limiteds. The paint was great. The new Grand Tour Pack holds 2 full-size helmets back there, plus it has a little luggage rack to put your stuff down.
Yeah, it looks
you have
great.
Heated seats for the rider and the passenger. The rear passenger pillion on the factory seat is heated. The new backrest is upgraded. So there was some very, very good feedback.
The heated seat is not connected to both, right? You can independently heat either seat.
Comes with stock heated grips.
Yeah.
It's the 117 VVT motor, and the VVT had previously just been limited to the CVO models.
Yeah.
So now the Limiteds are getting the VVT.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if you see some guys trying to get a hold of the Limited in the performance world for that VVT. If you see some guys getting the Limited and like stripping the Tour Pack and the lowers off to have that, little bit of a motor to give it a little bit more punch. But at the same time, that VVT in the Limited makes a lot of sense to me because that's going to give you a lot more power ratio through that. That's a heavier bike for sure, but it's going to allow it to be a little bit more smoother for those long distant rides. So that is kind of something cool to see, bringing that technology into the Limited, but I would love to see that technology be brought into, the regulars. Even if that was like a package upgrade on like the just Road Glide and Street Glide, if they brought that to both of those and it was like a
motor option.
A motor option, yeah.
So that those Limiteds are built for pound and pavement, like you said. So I think the VVT gives you that smoother power delivery. It's probably going to be a little more fuel efficient.
Yeah.
It's definitely designed for you to carry more weight and stress that motor less.
Yeah.
So the big thing to me, and I haven't seen one in person, I saw the release like everybody else and all the content creators and the enthusiasts and the people Harley Davidson paid to be in the videos, that you see the videos and they test those bikes and things, influencer type people. Those bikes, in my mind, the old school Electra Glide Ultra Classic, those seemed mammoth to me when I was young.
Yeah.
And even now. Those older Limiteds just seemed huge.
Yeah, much larger than them.
Didn't seem. Maybe I'm getting old.
Yeah.
But those looked like a bike. Like, you know what? That doesn't look bad at all.
No.
I don't know that I'm a fan of lowers. I've never ridden a bike with lowers.
Yeah.
I do love the fog lights being built into that thing. I love that they're vented, so you can still get some wind to you. It gives you a little extra storage if you
Something
want.
else was it had the Rockford Fosgates built into. I know the rear Tour Pack at the passenger, so they're going to get just as good a sound as you out of the fairing. But were they? I couldn't tell, and I was wondering. I'll ask you now. Did it have it in the lowers as well? Were those
there were no speakers in that,
no
but
speakers
there is ability to run speaker pods in the storage areas of those lowers.
Okay.
There have been for years.
Yeah.
I can't see that there wouldn't be now. So that Limited probably is going to click a lot of boxes for people. And I know they were talking that getting your hands on that Limited, there would be an option. That's a hard-mounted Tour Pack. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to get a quick detach system put in. You may have to change the fender or something. So people that want to do that, I don't know. There's always quick detach hardware. So if you could do that Grand Tour Pack in a quick detach, I think you're going to, if they offer that, which they will, but that's probably I saw a guy talking online that just that Tour Pack painted, like with the Street Glide, the CVO, the Street Glide Limited, like a color matched Grand Touring pack for that limited in that CVO was probably a $4,000 pack because of matching paint. But until there'll be some aftermarket companies, Advan Black and places like that are probably working on getting some of those
quick detach hardware or something for the non-limited bikes.
Could you do that and use that new, integrated lighting, everything people that love tour packs were asking for is in this. So I think that the limited is a great, we've heard you, here's what we're giving you. You guys that have asked for the limiteds back, the limited has a lot of what people want or we're asking for.
Especially with it being the updated body style. Like that bike looks, like you said, sleek, and it doesn't look monstrous compared to the regular bike beside it. At least in the video. Granted, we didn't see it parked beside each other.
Well, I haven't seen it in person.
But I'm with you, like the old limiteds seemed like they sat up higher, they were wider, they were huge. They just looked big. But I did not get that from the video at all. And it definitely looked like a answer to a cry from a lot of people. And it was we heard you, this is what we're doing, and it's going to check those boxes.
Both the Street Glide Limited and the Road Glide Limited are like 20 plus pounds lighter than the previous limiteds.
Yeah.
And I watched a video of someone riding it, and they say you feel like you sit up on the bike and all the weight is under you towards the ground. They were talking about how nimble it was. So, I was watching some Harley corporate guys throwing those things through some canyons out in California. And they're running 50, 60 plus. You're not even seeing them set the front wheel with the front brake. How you ride hard. They were just flowing. And you're watching all this on POV cameras, so is it distorting and they're not as sharp? But it was very
it looked
flickable.
Very,
they were flicking
friendly.
those things, and the feedback seemed to be, and people I was watching they ride road glides every day, and they were like, this limited feels more planted and flickable than even my road glide of a year ago. So they've got new front ends. They went Showa. Where's the Olins? Harley has been dealing with Olins. They went Showa suspension. You're a dirt biker. We know Showa suspension. So you got new limiteds. You then see the trike updates, the Road Glide 3, the Street Glide 3, both of which have the new fairings we thought they would get. They both got the 117 VVT motors. You didn't get true rear independent suspension. No. I think they're calling it the Axiom suspension, which has a pivot point in the center. And they showed through the R&D on the video and all that about how this plants. It does allow each wheel to have some independence, but keeps the whole unit together in a brand new redesigned rear section, subframe.
And they showed us that frame stripped down, which I'm sure that's going to take away a little bit of the weight aspect. But in the release video, they showed us the frame stripped down so we could see the rear suspension on the road test machine that puts it through a lot of force that runs constantly. And you could really see that suspension working and the geometry and engineering behind it. And you saw that with the frame having very little to no movement on that simulated bumps. And even then they showed you it with the full bike. Like we got to see the whole bike on a full all-around suspension where you could see the front compressing, not a lot of movement on the fairing. And the rear, it didn't seem like you could see the lights moving around. And you could really tell it was moving a decent bit. And that was really, really neat to watch. And it was I'm pretty sure he mentioned something about they have longer travel than previous, more suspension travel than the previous models, a significant amount.
The new subframe they built allowed this new Axiom axle with the pivot point. It has twice as much travel. It went from 2.5 inches to it's over almost 6. So it almost doubled exactly the travel of each wheel that allowed them to have a longer shock that allowed them to put the shock in front of the axle rather than behind the axle. So it totally is changing some things. So everybody that just wants to say, well, it's not independent suspension. What if those engineers engineered a suspension that's better?
Yeah.
I mean, we want to think independent suspension is better, and you still got trucks on the market that have run solid axles for years. You got some companies that swear by independent coilovers and things on your trucks and things. But some companies have fan loyalists that have bought that brand because they know what they're getting out of this.
Yeah.
And what if they've just engineered something that is a great hybrid? I've never ridden a trike.
No.
But if
it's also Harley sticking to its roots with the solid rear, and they've said, "Hey, how can we stick to our roots but make this better?"
Yeah.
And run with those.
What if it's better? I mean, what if you ride it and you're like, "This is better than any rear independent suspension I've got more contact, I've got more input, I feel better."
Yeah.
Then you go on and you get the Pan America Limited, and that was a beautiful bike. It came with all the hard bags, the aluminum bags. The paint is cool. It's got everything that you could want. That motor is rock solid. The Rev Max, they love it. I've never ridden one, but
I told you this off camera.
That spec Pan Am is exactly what everybody wants to go in and build.
Yeah.
And if you can just walk in and be like, that's the one, without having to say, hey, order me the aluminum bags, order me this, order me the cover, the skid plate for the exhaust pipe. It's there. It's everything.
And if I'm not mistaken, those are quick detach bags to carry in. Like if you stay somewhere, you can quick detach those and unlock those. It's like you've got
luggage.
Your suit. Yeah, it's full blown case luggage. Like you can carry it in. And they're hard. They're not going to get beat up on the road. You don't got to worry about stuff getting smashed. I told you this off camera, and I was like, we don't know necessarily the pricings yet, but something tells me that's going to be one of the best bang for your buck on the limited drops that we see. Like, I think that's going to be a very, good bike to, like you said, walk in and be like, that's the one. Don't need to change anything, or don't necessarily have the most to add to it. For that market, like that rider, I guess.
People are saying, hey, you missed the CVO ST or CVO Street Glide 3 Limited. We just haven't got to CVOs yet. We're going to hit the CVOs right now. That trike with that CVO paint was amazing. I thought that was cool. CVO paint schemes are pretty awesome this year. So, those who've been crying for it finally are getting a CVO ST Street Glide. And I think that's a pretty sweet bike.
I think they hit it out of the park.
One of the things that got me was they have their own, it's a one-off made cast handlebar that's higher. But the mirrors are on the handlebar. They're not built into the fairing on that ST. And I think that just looks wicked.
Yeah.
I love how the handlebars have almost a little hourglass at the bottom. They frame the screen of the infotainment center. That's my biggest thing right now with the Street Glides is the stock handlebars. I do not love.
A little bit low.
Do not love. It makes me feel clunched just close in when I sit on it. That's why I'm more of a road glide guy. I like being away and kind of stretched out on things. But the CVO ST Street Glide, the paint on it, oh my, that thing's beautiful.
Something that caught me off guard with both of them is like you see it nowadays, and it's kind of like an answer to the aftermarket world, is the tinted visors on them.
Oh, yeah.
Colored visors. We talked about that on the night of the drop.
I mean, Clockworks had been introducing some tinted visors, and people were like, man, I've got smoke, or you've got clear, or you got dark smoke, or a full tinted one. And then you see, here's an orange one, and here's a blue one.
Yeah.
And people are like, man, Clockworks is putting out some performance guys are grabbing a hold of those. Well, now you see some Harleys coming out with colored visor options or windscreens, and they do look good.
They do not. They don't look bad. The
CVO ST colors were that gray with that red flake in it that just hard to, you get out in the sun and you totally see that's like Inferno or something. Yeah. And then you had that blue coast color. but then you had that blue ST. Oh, that looked like a Superman bike. Man, that thing looked awesome, especially with that red screen or windscreen on it. It was awesome. So then you get a CVO. You got CVO ST Street Glide. You get a CVO ST Road Glide. You know what you're getting there. I love that. They got different. They got like more performance bagger boards. The Road Glide CVO ST looks a lot like an RR paint scheme.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Yeah,
all of those CVO paint schemes, I think, were not crazy, off the wall, wild. Like, why would I pay that much for just that paint? I think they were all well thought out, very good paints this year.
I loved the Coast Tritone on the Street Glide Limited CVO. And then I loved the CVO Street Glide that was like not the deep orange, but like like an orange, a fruit orange color. And the gray with the pinstripe black. I loved that Tritone.
Yeah, that looked good too.
Those paint jobs, but yeah.
And they're hand taped.
Yeah, like triple masked and stuff like that.
Hand masked and everything. Like, granted, a robot is painting it, but that is all masked by hand. Yeah. I mean, he talked about how much goes into that paint job. Like, I didn't realize how much, work and hands-on work there actually was to those paints. I mean, that's crazy that these tritones and crazy paints, like the one of the ones you were talking about earlier, it's like orange in the front and gray in the rear, kind of very RR-ish. Man, that's all masked off by hand. I mean, that's crazy. And there's inlays on those paints and the flake and things. I mean, that's crazy to think about.
Yep. So you get a CVO Street Glide, but there's no CVO Road Glide this year, just straight Road Glide CVO. So I'm sure some guys are going to be wondering, well, where's my Road Glide CVO? But you've had one for the past couple years. This is a way, I think Harley Davidson really is doing some things for the Street Glide, because that was their flagship forever. The Batwing fairing carried a lot, and now I think Road Glide sales are pushing past, but you got your legit Street Glide enthusiasts are like, man, we can't handle that the Road Glides there's more Road Shark Nose than there are Batwings. Yeah. So
you're still going to have the CVO ST.
Yeah, you're getting a true a CVO ST Road Glide.
Yeah.
You've had that the past couple years. But
it's cool to bring that to the Street Glide for sure.
But along the way, they said it was hard to get the CVO ST into the Street Glide platform because of the mapping and things, and that all the data had been run on a Road Glide because the race teams. Yeah. So you've got the same frame other than from the at the neck. And so I don't know what the deal was, but watching the Thrashing guys the other night, the Road Glide CVO ST and the Street Glide CVO ST have different limiters. Like the speed limiter on the Street Glide is 110, and the Road Glide speed limiter is that typical 120, 121 for Harley Davidsons. And they were even talking to the guy from Harley Corporate as the video was ending. This week's vlog coming up, I think they talk about it, but he was not in the easiest way of answering that. He was just like, the CVO Street Glide people, have been wanting a CVO ST, and this is what we can get them. I don't know if it's the way that the Batwing, where it's connected to your handlebars. Yeah. Is it when you dip that in, is that pushing so hard they can't let you hit that speed? Yeah. I'm sure there are way smarter people than us that have developed that. But I mean, if it's a deal breaker for you to run that you won't buy a bike because it only hits 110 and not 120, I mean, go to the track. Take it to the track. So this week's vlog, if you follow the Thrashing guys, they're taking both those bikes to the track. Yeah.
Something I wanted to add to that while you're on the track is they had one of the factory racers from King of the Baggers riding that CVO road. He rode the Street Glide, ST. But he said, straight from his mouth, he said, this is a lot of our race bikes into this. Like he was like, I can feel this. This is very much coming from the track's perspective. Yep. I mean, that's your factory racer right there. I
think that
it's blanking on me. I cannot remember who it was. I can't think of his name. But I mean, he straight from the mouth, horse's mouth. He said, this feels very much coming from the race world.
Yeah.
So that was super cool to hear because I mean, you hear it now, you're like, man, that thing looks like what they're racing on TV, and to hear the rider be like, man, this thing really caught me off guard. It feels like a race bike. I mean, that lets you know what you're getting.
They have 8 modes.
Yeah.
Track and Track Plus.
Yeah.
And they say that those Track and Track Plus modes, people think that's going to make them just be like ridiculous, like the super twitchy. And so, but that exactly is opposite. Riders want to ride at high speed very smooth. So that's when he was like, man, this Track and Track Plus mode makes this feel very much like the bike I throw my leg over to make my living.
Yeah.
He goes, that you can feel a whole lot of our race bikes into this. I mean, you're not running rear sets and aluminum swing arms and stuff like that, but what he feels from throttle to rear end and on the bike, those guys give a lot of thumbs up and a credence to the motor company.
And still with all of those CVOs, we're sticking with the 121 VVT.
121 VVT for the CVOs. The CVO STs are running the 121 high outputs.
Yeah.
Not the VVTs, but I mean, that's just for power and performance. That's the thing like that. So
the 121 step for that CVO, like that's obviously it's a cool motor. It's bigger. It's going to be bigger than your regular bikes, but I mean, that's kind of something I would expect if I'm going to pay the price tag of a CVO. Yeah. So that little added bump in your power and that motor size is definitely good. I wonder how long it's going to be until that gets bumped down to the regular bikes. Is that going to be 5 years from now, or is that like 2 years from now? Because that's what we've seen. 117 used to be the CVO motor, and then now it's
121, and then you'll get a 128 CVO.
Now the now the 117 is the Street Bob motor, which is your entry level, full frame cruiser bike. So at one point in time, that was the big dog, and now everybody looks at the 117 like, oh yeah, that's just a 117. That's crazy to me to think about because I have a 96 and a Street Bob Dyna. There was a time that the 96 was the big motor. So, that just it's constantly going to step up. So I guess my real question there is like, man, when is it going to be too big,
Yeah.
But I mean, heck, you've already got the crate motor you can buy straight from Harley, the 135 Screaming Eagle, or 131 Screaming Eagle, and there's even, other companies and shops that are building them way bigger up into the 150s and 140s and things of that nature. So, yeah.
Okay, so getting into our last segment here, my question to you, one question, I know we do this sometimes, is with all the releases and everything you see, and you're like, hey, man, that's awesome, that's an upgrade and things, but can you go in and buy the perfect motorcycle? Do you think you can walk in and buy the perfect motorcycle for Xander?
No, I don't think I can buy the perfect motorcycle. I think you're buying the perfect platform for you. You're buying that start. Everybody's different, and I think across the board, from dirt to crotch rockets to cruisers, big touring bikes, whether it's just a regular, whether you're getting a limited or just a straight up bagger, like you're buying the perfect start. You're not buying the perfect bike. So everybody's going to change something, or everybody's going to want something a little bit different on that bike. And even in vehicles, like in cars, people want to change stuff. But I don't think, for me, it's not that I'm going to buy the perfect bike. I'm buying the perfect bike that's offered from them, and then I'm going to make it mine. I'm going to change something for sure. I think that's a lot of people too. And yeah, I know there's going to be collectors and guys out there that are going to buy that bike and never touch it. And they might say, oh, it's perfect the way it is. But if you ask them, what would you change? Oh, well, they'd change this. I wouldn't mind having a little bit different seat, or I kind of would like if that lever wasn't chrome. I'd rather have it black. But if it's not going to break, I'm not going to mess with it, So that's kind of why I'm saying, no, you can't buy the perfect bike. And I think that's, like I said, across the board of any motorcycle. You're going to want to change something. And at the same time, even if you don't change it, you're going to set the suspension to how you want it. Can they do it while you're at the shop? Yeah, and then it's perfect for you. But you're going to tweak something or, do things of that nature. So, yeah. And at the same time, everything is mechanical.
Yeah.
It's got problems. It's not going to run. It's going to run good. Everything will run good. It's not going to run perfect.
I don't think you can buy a perfect motorcycle.
No.
Because everybody buys a motorcycle to make it their own. You go in and you sit on it, you're thinking, oh, this bike is exactly what I want. But I'm going to put this seat on it. I'm going
exactly.
I'm going to put this brand of foot peg on it so it doesn't rub my shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to have a heel shifter.
Yeah.
Hey, they brought back the heel shifter on some of these bikes, man. That's pretty cool. I did see that. But I think you're buying the perfect compromise.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Perfect platform, perfect compromise.
Hey, I'm going to buy a Road Glide because it's going to allow me to set it up the way I think I want to ride right now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's all kind of people that are different sizes, different length arms. You're going to adjust this. You're going to do this. Oh, I need a easier pull on my clutch. Hey, I just need a recluse clutch. I don't like pulling the clutch lever. Hey, I'm building performance. I need a chain upgrade rather than running this belt.
Yeah.
I don't like these foot pegs. But a lot of people don't understand that. Like, that's just who we are.
Yeah.
I'm also of the opinion that you can't do that from a company standpoint. You have to appeal to masses. And you have to give them the ability and, like you said, basically a platform. And then you give them an accessories catalog.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Just say, would you like this? How about this? How about a blue windscreen? Mm-hmm. Hey, have you ever thought about running a dark smoke windscreen rather than this clear one?
Yeah. This is a niche community for motorcycles, and everybody that has one has it as a way to express themselves and the way they think a motorcycle should be or what they want theirs to look like. Everything's different. And you can respect them all, and you can find the ones that you are like, that is cool, and then you can find the ones that you're like, I am not that way at all. And like you said, they appeal to the masses and then hand you a parts catalog. But at the same time, there's people out there making a living because they wanted to change that certain part on their bike, and they thought, you know what, somebody else might want this. 1, or they go to a bike night and 10 other people are like, if you'll make me one, I'll buy it off of you. Tell me your price. And now they have a multi-million-dollar company because all they did was make a few things on their bike their own or change a couple things, and now they sell it to the masses. Mm-hmm.
1,000%. I think your riding changes. I think your needs of comfort on your bike changes. I think everybody
I'm going through that right
changes. Like your performance guys are going to venture more towards comfort as they get a little bit into their riding careers.
You might see some younger guys that thought comfort was greater, and then now they're getting like more riding experience, and they want a little bit more of a crazier ride.
You don't see a lot of 70-year-old sport bike riders.
No, they're out there, but few and far between.
Yeah. And that's not saying nothing against sport bikes.
Mm-mm.
You just get to a point where that becomes an uncomfortable position to ride in. Some of those guys quit riding.
Yeah.
Some of them move over to different bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Your needs for riding Oh, now I'm in a place where my wife rides with me a lot. So I need to be 2 up. I need to hold more storage. I need a bigger tour pack.
Yeah, I
don't love my tour pack all the time. I need it to be quick detach. I need a stiffer suspension to hold more weight. I think the ability to build that and allow you to adjust, it's the whole reason we have this show.
Yeah.
Is we love motorcycles and we like making them our own. Here's another caveat. I don't think you can build it, the perfect motorcycle.
No, because you're always looking for
You're
the next
always
thing to change.
chasing something else. Oh man, I need inverted front forks. I need inverted forks. Oh, well, now I got to get radio mounted brake calipers. Oh, what kind of, I want to run these 6 piston.
Dude, I think you look at the chopper world. Look at the chopper world. That is the perfect thing. Guys that are keeping shovels and panheads alive, but on a hardtail chop. You go to a bike show, you can see the same bike 10 times. It's going to have something different on it every time. And we've talked to a couple guys that are like, we're like, man, I love that. And he's like, I've taken that off and putting that on and changed it out with this a couple times, and I just can't make my mind up.
Yeah.
That was a straight up, conversation we had with a bike builder at a bike show we went to. And, but I mean, that's a perfect example is that chopper world it's even hard to build the perfect bike. But man, that's the awesome thing about it is that I love that chase of the next best thing.
Exactly. That is the fulfilling part is the journey.
Yeah.
The journey of riding it, the journey of building it, the journey of improving it. Here's the thing that tells me that you can't build the perfect one, because how many guys, when something wears out on their bike, they always just go back and put the same thing back on. We almost always, I'm going to go different grips. Yeah. I need to replace my brake pads. Let me try this brand this time. Oh, I'm going to try a different tire. Oh, I'm going to upgrade my lighting. Hey, I want to color match or paint my inner fairing on my Road Glide or Street Glide because I don't like that matte black.
Yeah.
Lots of people would love that matte black. Some people are just like, you're sitting on a new bike you're about to pay $30,000 for, and you're thinking, first 3 things I'm going to change are
bars.
I got to get an exhaust. This thing's too quiet. But even at that, you come home and you build it and you ride that bike for a few years and you're like, I think I'm going to change the exhaust again. I think I want to go 2-into-1. I think I want to go back to 2-into-2 and run true duals. I think I want new bags. Oh, have you seen this body kit from this place? I think I want to run that. I think I'm going to get this wrapped. I like this tank decal better. But it's a beautiful problem to have. So all the people that are belly aching over the new release, or they're super excited about the new release, everybody that thinks, man, I'm going to go get my name and order me one of those limiteds. $10 to a plug nickel, they change something on that bike before they walk out of the daggone showroom.
Or they know what they're going to order.
I'm going to change those floorboards to this Empire collection. Right. Why do you think Harley Davidson sells you collections of things? Oh, we'll make your mirrors match your grips, make your floorboards match your passenger side floorboards, because you're that guy. Oh, you want that Derby cover that says that? We can take care of all that. Right? Because they want you to make it your own. Nobody buys.
And that's from years and years of they sold the bike and then they noticed, man, guys are changing these. And back in the day, man, they had to make that stuff themselves. I mean, they were, hey, my buddy is a machinist and he might be able to make this for me. Do you think you can make me this and that? And then that is over 100 years of them seeing guys custom build things themselves, and they think, we can make that in-house. And then they offer it. And that one guy that had it turns into thousands of people buying it for motorcycles, and it's a factory aftermarket option.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. Exactly. You're going to see aftermarket companies coming out with all the stuff to fit this stuff.
Yeah.
And you think when you buy a CVO buyers, you got to, I'm paying top notch. This is the custom vehicle operations edition of the vehicle I'm trying to buy. It's the motorcycle I want. So then you've got the debate. Do you really change a lot on a CVO? Is that going to affect its value? Are you more worried about affecting its value than making it where it's something you want to ride every day? Do I ride my CVO and put miles on it? Because, I mean, what if I want to sell it in a couple years and it holds its value very good? I say you buy that thing and you ride it till the wheels fall off of it.
Yeah.
I'm not a collector. Do I think I would like to have multiple bikes? Yes. But I'm not going to go buy a Liberty Edition and put it in my garage under a tarp and only bring it out for bike shows or bike nights. I would ride that thing every day.
Yeah. And I can promise you there's going to be an old guy that walks in and wants the Liberty Edition because he
Has
had
the
one,
76
had
edition.
one,
He might have them both.
or he liked it back then. First thing he's going to do before he leaves out of there is go, I don't like that blue windscreen. And he's going to put a clear one on there. Promise you, it's going to happen at least once.
I'm going to take it home because it comes with it, but I'm going to update that.
Yeah.
But that guy might pull that in his garage right beside that 1976 one. And he may not plan on putting 1,000 miles a year on it.
He just wants it.
He might have a 1976 that barely has 20,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And then he might have a hopper that he runs the wheels off of and just doesn't ride those two, but now he wants to have all the ones of the Liberty Editions that are offered. I get that.
Yep.
That's just not where I am right now. So I say you're looking for your best platform for compromise that you can make the best bike you want it to be right now.
Yep.
Am I the guy that's going to buy a new bike and tear into the motor of it? No, that's just not me. I would love to have the exhaust, give me the best seat, give me the most comfortable rider's triangle I can handle, and I'm going to ride it. I'm not going to take it to the track, probably. If I go to the track, it's to watch other people race their stuff. That's just not who I am. But you're like, man, I'm buying this because I know I want to run this cam in it because I can get this 117 to run,
that's
I can make
me.
this 117 do 140 horsepower and 150 torque with two upgrades to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just going to leave mine alone and change my oil and change my fluids and ride it. And make it sound good, make it look good, but I'm not going to be racing anybody off a parking lot.
No.
But that's the beautiful part about this. And for us, we both agree on the same platform. That
we have opposite ends of the spectrum.
We have opposite ends of what we want them to look like, but we say this is the best platform that we think right now of where we want to do it. So, question for you, leave us a comment. Can you buy the perfect bike? I don't think if you're a sport bike rider and you get the brand new Ducati Panigale V4, when you get home and ride it, you're going to be like, I wish this was different. But this is the perfect bike. I wish this was different. Because we're human beings, we don't want anything that anybody else has. At least in our mind, we want ours to be different than everybody's. And even if there's 10 of them sitting alone, we're like, well, I bought this one. It's different. You're going to see 3 in a row and you're going to sit on one of them that you think is better looking or fits you, and you're going to buy that one. And they're identical.
Everybody wants an exhaust, but that's why there's hundreds of different exhaust companies and all of them sound different. I mean,
so if you've bought the perfect bike, please tell me what it is. If you've built the perfect bike, awesome.
Tell us what it is.
That's great. I think you can build a bike that is the best case scenario for you right now. But as soon as something breaks on that thing, it's not perfect.
No.
And if you build it and that increases your maintenance and upkeep on it, I don't find that to be perfect, because I think it has to be a great balance of what money it costs you and what money you're willing to spend on it. So that's where I am. Your finishing thoughts, and we'll wrap this up for the week.
Yeah, I'm basically the same way as you. You're buying the perfect platform, perfect compromise to build it perfect for you, and you're still going to always want something to change on it.
I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's being non-satisfied. I think that's just, hey, my next thing, you may say, the next thing I do to my bike is this. it might be a year or two before you do that. I mean, I think some people hear, oh, I bought this new motorcycle. I'm going to do this, this, and this to it. And they're like, well, why'd you buy that one? Well, this is the best one I can buy to do this to it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to run home tonight and charge up a bunch of money on a credit card just so I can say, I did this to my brand new motorcycle. No, it's just like,
I went through that.
Hey, I mean, my wife's like, we're going to put up new curtains. When in the spring, I want to paint this room and put up new curtains. That don't mean we're going to buy it tonight. You know, I want our home to feel like ours. I want my house to feel like I live here.
Yeah.
I want my motorcycle to feel like it's mine.
Yeah.
I want my vehicles to feel like they're mine. And I drive a 10-year-old truck that's bone stock. Bone stock. Nothing to it. Nothing done to it. And people are like, oh, I can't believe you never tinted those windows, or you didn't do this, or you didn't get a lift or level it or put these rims on it. And I'm like, she still does everything I need her to do. Thing's been paid for as almost over half of how I've I've owned it.
Yeah. But you buy a 12-year-old.
She ain't costing me no money right now.
No, but you bought a 12-year-old motorcycle, and in 3 months there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, right.
There was already stuff done to it.
It was coming into
ownership.
But anyway, like you said, man, I think it's you get your platform and you do that. So let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Get out on YouTube and look up all this stuff. Go to HarleyDavidson.com. They have the release video there. You can now pull up their line of bikes and see every new bike, every new color, all the specs, all the options. I mean, you're looking at fuel mileage and everything on these. But one thing we didn't talk about, I love the new rims that were released. Some of the new wheels are the coolest factory wheels I've seen.
Yeah.
So that being said, we'll get into that.
Yeah. If you check the Harley Davidson app, we have it. There's new 2026 ride challenges out too, if you're into that. They might be harder for some people in the area that you live. But yeah, I mean, if you're like us, we're kind of hoping for a break in the weather to get out and ride every chance we can. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's conversation, guys. We appreciate everybody stopping by and spending some time with us. Remember, you can find us anywhere that you can get a podcast at: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, things of that nature. If you're looking at us, you've already found us on YouTube. Like and subscribe, share, tell your friends about us. Leave us a comment. Interact with us. You know, we got some shout outs from people that reached out to us recently, and that was just, you know, the biggest things we've had in a while. So yeah, I mean, if you leave us a comment like that and reach out and we get a chance to, we're going to talk about it on here. Let us know. Still, if you're wanting some stickers, you know, let us know, reach out, and we'll get with you and try to figure out a way to get you a Bikers and Backroads sticker. Yeah, we've got
should be delivered this week.
New ones coming. Yeah, so now you have a choice between a couple different ones.
We'll send you both.
Yeah, we'll send you both for sure. And then, yeah, we appreciate everybody. Hope your New Year's starting off good. But yeah, that's all for today, and we'll holler at y'all later.
You riders, be safe and be blessed. We'll talk to you later.